Welcome, middle school and high school teachers. Today we're going to be talking about annotating nonfiction text for comprehension. I'm Katie Bailey and I am a 9th grade English teacher over at the high school, so feel free to pop in or send me an email. My email is on the assessment page if you have any questions. So the whole reason we're doing this training is that across our subject areas, so science, history, English, we all have different ways of teaching students how to annotate nonfiction text because we know nonfiction texts come up in our standards quite often. We know they're on state testing, and we know that it's important for our students to be able to extract information from them, especially when they get into those research stages. One area we need to improve on, though, is making sure we use common terms so that we can see that transfer of knowledge from class to class. So I'm here today to teach you the method that the English department has been using called the GHU annotation method that you can adopt for your classrooms as well. So in our training today, we have two goals. They're down there at the bottom of the screen. The first is that you will be able to use the GHU annotation method to highlight key details, underline supporting details, and gloss the text for connections, making summaries, and asking questions. Second, I want you guys to be able to find a nonfiction article that fits your curriculum area and teach the GHU annotation method to your students using that article. So it's pretty simple how this works. You just work your way through the pages 1 through 4. If you follow my cursor, they're right there at the top. And during the assessment, you'll submit some things to me and I can give you feedback on those things so that you can teach this to your students in the future. So to give you a quick rundown, you're going to start on page 1. This is the slideshow that teaches you what exactly goes into the process. So you'll click your way through the slideshow here to learn how to GHU, G-H-U, the text, before you move on to page 2. So page 2 is practice. So here we'll all look at the same article about playing pickleball. You can do this a couple of ways. You can print this article. You can open it in a PDF using Kami that the district's been using for the last 2 years. Or you can use it in Google Docs if that's what you do in your classroom. So one of those 3 ways, we'll take a look at annotating this pickleball article together. As you have your copy of the article, I'd like you to split your screen and watch as I go through the article. This is how I would teach the article in my classroom if I was annotating it with students. So you'll follow along with this video to have at least one example of how it's done. Then you're going to take your new annotation knowledge and you are going to apply it to your own article. So you'll find your own article. Most of you probably have some stored in your Google Drive already. If you don't, I give you some sources here that you can look for an article on. Then you're going to annotate the text on your own using our 3 steps of glossing, highlighting, and underlining. Then I want you to review your work up against this rubric below. So you can kind of see where you'd fall if you're meets, if you're exceeds, where you would be at, making any adjustments before you would submit your final draft. Then that brings us to 4, which is the assessment. So since we have 2 learning objectives, we're going to do 2 assessments. The first one is you're just going to send me the article that you annotated. So go ahead and email that to me. My email is right here. And then be sure to check for feedback 1 to 3 days later so I have a little time to look at everyone's article. Then objective number 2 is a simple Google survey. So all you're going to do is fill out what grade and subject you teach, where you think you're at with your ability to teach this to your students, and then any questions you may have for me. And again, be sure to check your email in 1 to 3 days for some feedback on that aspect as well. Happy training, and please stop in or reach out to me if you have any questions.